fearsome renunciant came to Sanatana and warned him not to become distracted by worldly mindedness. He ordered Sanatana to go to Vrindavan, unearth the obscure holy places, and preach the scriptural doctrine of divine love. The next morning, Sanatan told his brother Rupa about the dream. Smiling, Rupa confessed that he too was somehow aware of this instruction, and he informed Sanatan that Sri Krishna had indeed descended as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give them further direction in regard to the spiritual calling. With every day that passed, Rupa and Sanatan anxiously awaited a sign. When would they be able to renounce their distasteful political services to the Nawab of Bengal and fully replace it with service to the Lord's lotus feet? The boys consulted their mother and she suggested that they write a letter to Sri Chaitanya. This they did, and after receiving no reply, they tried writing him again and again. At last, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu responded, but his letter merely contained one verse from scripture. If a woman is involved with a man other than her husband, she may try to be especially diligent in her household duties. In this way, she seeks to avoid detection. Within her heart, however, she is always longing to be reunited with her paramour. Rupa and Sanatana understood his meaning. They should continue to work responsibly for Nawab, at least temporarily. Inwardly, they would fully meditate on that inevitable surrender onto the Lord's mission. But the Goswamis had to be patient. Sri Chaitanya had just taken sannyasa and gone to Puri. Next, he began a pilgrimage that included a two-year tour of South India. So it was sometime before he would journey to North Bengal and meet them at Ramakeli. Nonetheless, the meeting which took place in 1514 was pivotal point in the annals of Gaudiya Vaishnava history. This has been described in previous chapter. After meeting Sri Chaitanya at Ramakeli, Rupa and Anupama were able to immediately renounce the world. Sanatan, however, the responsibility to the Nawab, and it was difficult to extricate himself. In an attempt to fulfill his governmental obligations and pursue Krishna consciousness at the same time, Sanatan feigned illness, telling Nawab that he had to remain at home until he got well. In this way, he daily studied Srimad Bhagavatam with Ramkeli's chief pundits, and during this period, learned scholars and devotees came from miles around to hear Sanatan's recitation of Bhagavatam. The Nawab became suspicious, sending a physician to the home of Sanatan Goswami. He found out that not only was the Goswami not at all ill, but he had turned his home into a virtual ashram with holy man and scripture readings permeating the atmosphere. Holy man and scripture reading permeating the atmosphere. Enraged, the Nawab immediately called for Sanatan and demanded that he go with him to Orissa, where he expected to conquer another kingdom. When the Goswami refused to go with him, the Nawab had him temporarily thrown into jail. Luckily, a letter arrived to Rupa Goswami, informing Sanatan that Sri Chaitanya had departed for Vrindavan. Rupa and Anupama were going to meet him, said the letter. And Rupa suggested that Sanatan make arrangements to come as well. Having heard that Sanatan had been imprisoned by Nawab, Rupa concluded his letter by saying, I have left a deposit of 10,000 gold coins in Moody's town, trading market. Use that money to get out of prison. Somehow or other, get yourself released and come to Vrindavan. Sanatan then bribed the Muslim jail keeper and jumped into the river. The jailkeeper agreed. Although Sanatan was not accustomed to the story of trickery he had to use on the Muslim jailkeeper, the situation was exceptional. Rupa Goswami had returned to him with Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya would be receiving guests in Vrindavan, and that Sanatan should
क्या चीज़
blue box.
ब्लू बॉक्स अभी मोमेंट अभी लेंगे फिर मोमेंट हो रहा है ठीक है ब्लू बॉक्स
Although Sanatan was not accustomed to this sort of trickery he had to use on the Muslim jailkeeper, the situation was exceptional. Rupa Goswami had returned to him. Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya would be receiving guests in Vrindavan, and that Sanatan should go to see him. In addition, Sanatan was initially thrown in prison for negligible reasons, and the Nawab would soon release him upon his return.
ये द्रोणाचार्य का जगह है
With these considerations, Sanatan planned to immediately free himself.
द्रोणाचार्य यहाँ पे पांडवों को शिक्षा देते थे
Sanatan immediately planned to
ये
free
जगह है
himself.
यहाँ पे द्रोणाचार्य पांडवों को शिक्षा टीच करते थे जिससे yes.
Sanatan was initially thrown in a prison for a negligible reason. Nawab would soon release him upon his return. With this consideration, Sanatan planned to immediately free himself from prison.
पानी और दे दो
With this consideration, Sanatan planned to immediately free himself from prison and begin his journey to see Sri Chaitanya. As an escapee, he was not able to walk along the main road, for he would surely be detected and thrown back in prison. Consequently, he and his servant Ishan walked day and night through dangerous forests until they finally reached a hilly tract of land known as Patada in Bihar. Here they stayed in a hotel. When the hotel manager heard of his promise, Ishan was secretly carrying 8 gold coins. The hotel manager plotted to kill both Sanatan and his servant to steal their money. Bidding his time, the hotel manager treated them as an honored guest and even offered his assistance. Sensing that the hotel manager was too friendly, Sanatan had asked Ishan how much money he had with him. When Ishan said that he had 7 gold coins, he lied in order to keep 1 gold coin for himself. Sanatan immediately took the money and voluntarily gave it to the hotel manager in order to prevent a violent attack upon their persons. Knowing that Ishan had lied about the 1 gold coin, Sanatan let him keep it, but he released the Ishan from his service. This action completely swayed the hotel owner from his previous intentions, and he even assisted Sanatan in his journey through Hazaribagh mountains and out of Patada. On the way, Sanatan stopped to Hajipur and met his brother-in-law Shrikant. After hearing about Sanatan's difficulties, Shrikant became concerned about Goswami and asked him to stay with him and his family. But the Goswami declined. His mission was of paramount importance, and he could never settle down to a compromised life of family and friends. This might be suitable for others, especially if they could manage to keep God in the center of their lives. But Sanatan was to play a direct leading role in Sri Chaitanya's mission. Consequently, he denied this last chance for an easy lifestyle. He was now penniless and bereft of his servant, but he felt truly free for the first time in many years. He left Srikant's house with nothing more than a fine woolen blanket which his brother-in-law had given him as a gift. After a few days, Sanatan arrived in Banaras. Although he was sorry to hear that Sri Chaitanya had already finished his tour of Vrindavan, he was pleased that the master was now in Banaras, accepting the guest there. Sanatan went to the house of Chandrasekhar, for he knew that this is where Sri Chaitanya would be staying. As Sanatan approached, Sri Chaitanya said to Chandrasekhar, "There is a great devotee coming to your door. Go and let him in." Once outside, Chandrasekhar looked in both directions, but he could not see a great devotee or anyone even remotely fitting the description. When he came back inside and told to Sri Chaitanya, the master said, "Is there anyone at the door at all?" Since Sanatan had gone through great austerities in the jungle to get to Banaras, he was totally unkempt and certainly unrecognizable as a Vaishnava. Consequently, Chandrasekhar replied, "Well, I did see one disheveled individual. He looked like a Muslim mendicant, perhaps a dervish of the Sufi order. Bring him in here immediately," said Sri Chaitanya. He is no ordinary dervish." Chandrasekhar then went out to get Sanatana, who was sitting by the door. When he heard that Sri Chaitanya wanted to see him, Sanatan happily followed Chandrasekhar into the main courtyard. Upon entering, Sri Chaitanya lovingly embraced him, and they both swooned with ecstatic love for Krishna. After telling Sri Chaitanya the whole story of his stay in prison and the events that followed, Sanatan was put in the care of Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra. Sanatan first shaved his long hair and beard at Sri Chaitanya's request.
जो एक डिवोटी जो आए थे वृंदावन प्रिया प्रभु, उसके वाइफ को आप ब्राह्मण दीक्षा के लिए बोले थे। ब्राह्मण वृंदावन प्रिया प्रभु परसों आए थे, तो रिकमेंड लेटर उसको टेम्पल प्रेसिडेंट से भेज दिए हैं, तो वो वेट कर रहे हैं। तो मैं ब्राह्मण दीक्षा, हाँ, तो मैं बोला हूँ कुछ खाइएगा पिएगा नहीं जब तक दीक्षा नहीं होगा। वो तो है, मिल जाएगा, कर देते हैं। ठीक है, तो सरकार को फोन करो।
After telling Sri Chaitanya the whole story of his stay,
जी बस, हाँ हाँ है, मिल जाएगा। सॉरी।
After telling Sri Chaitanya the whole story of his stay in prison and the events that followed, Sanatan was put in the care of Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra. Sanatan first shaved his long hair and beard at Sri Chaitanya's request. Then Chandrasekhar took him to the Ganges so he could properly bathe, and then he gave him a new set of cloths. However, Sanatan would not accept the cloths, thinking they were too opulent. This made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very happy. For in this simple rejection of clothing, Sanatan had shown a serious spirit of renunciation. Later that same day,
जनेऊ भी है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। जनेऊ थोड़ी माता जी को देना।
later that same
माता जी
day,
हाँ, हाँ वो प्रभु जी का हुआ वो ब्राह्मण दीक्षित है, वृंदावन प्रिय प्रभु है, हो गया सब है।
later that same day, Sri Chaitanya and Sanatan went to Tapan Mishra's house for lunch. Although extremely pleased with Sanatana, Sri Chaitanya kept glancing at his luxuriant woolen blanket,
तो जी मैंने महाराज से बात
that
कर
the
लिया
one that Srikanta had given him.
है रास्ते में
Noticing this,
आकर के ब्राह्मण
Sanatan could
दीक्षा लेकर
understand that Sri Chaitanya did not
हरे
move.
कृष्ण
The valuable blanket was inappropriate paraphernalia for a person in the renounced order, and so Sanatan considered discarding it. The next day, while bathing in the Ganges, he noticed a Bengali mendicant washing a simple torn quilt and then spreading it out to dry. Sanatan immediately approached the simple man and humbly asked if he would be willing to trade his quilt for the expensive blanket. At first, the mendicant naturally thought that Sanatan was teasing him. But Sanatan assured him, "I'm not joking, I'm speaking the truth. I would really like to trade my valuable blanket for your torn quilt." The mendicant gratefully agreed to exchange. Sanatan returned to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a torn quilt draped over his shoulder. When the master asked about the blanket, Sanatan When the master asked about the blanket and Sanatan related the story, they were both visibly pleased. Sri Chaitanya then said, "I have considered this matter in some depth. Since Sri Krishna is very merciful, he has nullified your attachment for material things. Why should Krishna allow you to maintain a last bit of material attachment? After vanquishing a disease, a good physician does not allow any of the disease to remain." The Goswami agreed. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has saved me from the sinful life of material existence. By his desire, my last piece of material attraction is now gone. In addition to this appreciation of Lord's mercy, Sanatan recognizes good fortune in associating with Sri Chaitanya, the Lord's most esoteric descendant. Out of your causeless mercy, he told Sri Chaitanya, you delivered me from the materialistic path. Now by that same causeless mercy, please tell me what my duty is. Enjoying this exchange with Sri Chaitanya, Sanatan began to inquire about the absolute truth. Who am I? Sanatan asked. Why do the miseries of material existence permeate my life? And what is the ultimate goal? In this, Sanatan humbly asked generic questions that could easily have been asked by anyone, for he wanted clear, authoritative answers from Sri Chaitanya, who will soberly explain to him all the secrets of his existence. First, the master explained the ontological position of the ordinary mind spirit soul. All the souls are constitutionally servants of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya said, and they are his part and parcel. The soul is related to God in the same way that the sun rays are related to the sun. The soul is an energy, and the God is an energetic source. The sun and the sunshine are really the same. The sun and the sunshine are, in the sense, one. As soon as there is sun, there is sunshine, and vice versa. But the sun and sunshine are different as well. If the sunshine is in one's room, it can create a pleasing sensation. But if the sun itself were in one's room,
बहुत तेज बारिश हो रही है वृंदावन के रास्ते में यमुना एक्सप्रेस वे पे बहुत ही तेज बारिश हो रही है रास्ता भी दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है देख सकते हैं
they are both fiery, but they are quantitatively different. So too is this the case with the gods and living entities. The philosophy of simultaneously oneness with the difference from God, known as Achintya Bheda Tattva, in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's language, is central to his doctrine. David Haberman elaborates. In the system of the Goswamis, which maintains the position of differentiation within non-differentiation, Achintya Bheda, the individual is real and separate from, while yet maintaining a sameness with the Absolute. Here, moreover, personal experience is greatly valued. Rupa frequently de-evaluates the Vedanta goal of union or moksha. For how could one have relationship with Krishna if individuality were given up? The Vaishnava speaks of tasting sugar, not becoming sugar. The goal is not to lose individual being, but rather to overcome the ignorance that keeps us from realizing who we truly are. The aim of bhakti is the transformation of identity, not the Vedantin identification with the non-differentiated one. This is one of the major differences between the Bhakti and Vedantic Hinduism. Rupa claims that one is ultimately a character in Braj life, a servant, a friend, an elder, or more important, a lover of Krishna, but never Krishna himself. Experience of love requires an object and a subject. Thus, absorption into the Absolute is eschewed and an internal emotional relationship with Krishna is pursued. In this way, Sri Chaitanya described the living entities as being simultaneously one with and different from God. But the living entities constitute only one of the God's multifarious energies. And Sri Chaitanya wanted to give Sanatana more thorough understanding, describing other, more confidential categories of this energy. Krishna's direct energy, for example, extend from Srimati Radharani, the greatest manifestation of these energies, to the aforementioned ordinary living beings. Subtle matter, however, such as mind, intelligence, and illusory false ego are also counted among Krishna's energies. But these are called indirect, for they are qualitatively removed from the spiritual principle. This energy extends to the level of gross matter or inert material elements. Nonetheless, all are the energies of God and were explained in detail to Sanatana Goswami.